Victory! Can we play some Rocky music right about now? Welcome to part 4 of this video series where you have had the opportunity to watch me wholesale a house from start to finish in 1 week, or at least that was the original intent of this video series. But if you've been following, you know that this deal blew up at the last minute. We left off where a local Phoenix wholesaler tried to scam me on this deal in Phoenix, Arizona and keep my earnest money deposit. So in this video, I'm gonna share what happened, as well as give you 6 tips for how to make sure you don't get scammed by a shady wholesaler. All of that and more coming up.
For a limited time, you can get a free copy of Jerry Norton's Quick Start Kit with everything you need to flip your first house in 30 days or less. Download it now at myquickstartkit.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with FlippingMastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to help you make money wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified when new videos are released. If you're just tuning into this video series, be sure to go back and watch parts 1 through 3 so you have all of the backstory. But the bottom line is a local Phoenix wholesaler tried to sell me a property that had major issues with setbacks and easements. Basically, the driveway was on the neighbor's property. Now, the property having issues isn't the real problem. The real problem is this wholesaler knew this property had setback issues and easement issues, and he didn't disclose this information. In fact, he knowingly withheld this information, knowing that I wouldn't buy it if I knew that was really going on. And to make matters worse, when I confronted him about it to cancel my contract, he pulled the as-is card and even tried to keep my $3,000 earnest money deposit. Not cool. By the way, in the description box below is the playlist link where you can watch all 3 previous videos about this deal. Well, video 3 we left off where Title sent my cancellation of the contract and request to refund my earnest money deposit to a review team at the title company. And you know, I wasn't even gonna do this video. I'm over it and I'm ready to move on. And you know, you can't let stuff like this eat at you. I don't like to dwell on negativity, and there's enough of that going around right now anyway. But I've had so many people ask me to do a part 4 video and share what happened. So I decided to do this video, and I wanna take the opportunity to really share what it means to wholesale and transact real estate with integrity. And later in this video, I'm gonna share 6 tips to make sure you don't get scammed by a crooked wholesaler like I almost was. So keep watching. First of all, my assignment contract with Randy, the shady wholesaler, said that my earnest money deposit of $3,000 was non-refundable and I had 1 week to close. That means if I didn't perform and either fund the deal myself or assign my contract to someone else who could fund the deal on time, I would forfeit my earnest money. Now, I agreed to that. That was a risk I took, that if I couldn't perform, I would have willingly given up my earnest money. That's just part of the business. As a wholesaler, it's really smart to require a substantial non-refundable earnest money from your cash buyers. In fact, I did a video all about how important that is. Link to that video in the description box below. But in my case with this deal, I actually did have a buyer that was able to close on time, and this would have been a normal deal if it didn't have a screwed up property. Now I would have closed on time and my earnest money would have been applied to the deal. But when I discovered that this property had setback and easement issues and I confronted Randy the scammer about it, he claimed that the contract stated I was buying the property as is, and he was using that as his reason for not telling me known issues with the property. So I went back and reread both the original contract with him and the seller and my assignment contract between me and him, and this is the as-is statement he's referring to. Assignor, which is Randy the con artist, and affiliated associates make no warranty expressed or implied regarding inspection reports or other reports provided to assignee. Now I'm the assignee. By assignor or third parties concerning this property. Assignee is advised to independently verify the accuracy of all information contained in reports regarding this property. Okay, so first of all, Randy the crook didn't give me any inspection reports or any reports at all, so even this clause doesn't help his case. But let's say he did. Let's say he had really strong language that I understood and agreed to buy the property as is. What really does as is mean? As is pertains to the condition of the property, meaning the seller isn't going to do repairs. It also means that you are accepting known and visible defects of the property. The keywords are known and visible. It means whatever I can see and is obvious, I accept. Here's where Randy the hustler went wrong on this deal. Not only did he know about these setback and easement issues, he had other buyers fall through due to discovering these issues. Aside from the obvious of who would buy a house where the driveway is on the neighbor's lot, that means he willingly and knowingly withheld the information in order to try and close the transaction so that he could earn a $4,000 wholesale fee. Now, this has nothing to do with as is and has everything to do with disclosure. That's why on the part 3 video where he said, "I don't know what to tell you," I said, "How about the truth?" I told him you have to disclose what you know.
There's no scamming on the deal. It's a fine deal. I'm not worried about it.
All right, well then why don't you disclose it? You know why? Because you've already been trying to sell this and you can't, because if you disclose this, you know nobody will buy it. So what you're hoping to do is prey on somebody who doesn't catch it. Unbelievable. I love what Rebecca Roberts said on a comment she posted on video 3. She said, "As is does not mean the seller does not have to disclose a known issue. It simply means that any unknown issues cannot be held against the seller later on. Most states have laws that a seller cannot willfully withhold information that is material to the transaction." Now, in case you didn't hear, the title company holding my $3,000 earnest money sided with me. Now, I've never had this happen to me where I had a dispute over earnest money. In video 3, the title agent told me to send an email with all of the details about my complaint, which I did. Then they requested Randy the jokester to agree to release my earnest money, which he refused. Then it went to mediation where a committee at the title company looked at all the facts and made a decision as to whether or not I would get back my earnest money. And today, the title company told me they were going to give me back my earnest money, just like I told Randy.
You don't want to buy it, that's fine. You lose your deposit.
Well, no, I'm not going to lose my deposit. So it took a few days, but I received an email today from the title company with this letter attached. And it says right here, "Notice of cancellation. It has been determined that the earnest money shall be refunded to buyer and our escrow transaction shall be canceled." Victory! Can we play some Rocky music right about now? So after we run Randy out of town with pitchforks, what lessons can you learn from this experience? What could I have done that would have prevented this from happening? And what can you do to make sure that you don't fall victim to a shady seller, wholesaler, or investor? I've got 6 tips. First of all, tip number 1 is to assume that anyone you're dealing with that you don't have a previous relationship with is a liar. I hate to say that, I tend to be a very trusting person by nature, but I've been in business long enough to know that people have hidden agendas. Whether it's agents, wholesalers, contractors, anyone, assume that they're looking out for their best interest. Don't be jaded, don't take it personally, just know that it's human nature to only focus on your own self-interest. Combine that with bad character and no integrity, and you get Randy Guzman. All I'm saying is only take what someone says that you don't have a track record with at face value, which brings me to tip number 2, which is to do your homework. On this deal, I just assumed that the driveway belonged to the property. I had no reason to assume otherwise, but from now on, I'm gonna call the city and ask if there are any known setback or easement issues with the property I'm working on. If a wholesaler won't let you have an inspection contingency so that you have time to do your due diligence, then you're going to have to do your homework before entering into a contract. Tip number 3 is something that I did correctly, thank God, but never ever give your earnest money to the wholesaler. Can you imagine if I would have given Randy the bullshitter my $3,000 earnest money? Always let the title or escrow company hold your earnest money in their secure escrow account. Tip number 4 is to find out what role the wholesaler has in the transaction. It's very common for wholesalers to lie that they have a contract when they don't hold the contract. Someone else does, and they're trying to daisy chain it. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing a JV or assigning an assignment like I was gonna do, but what's not cool is lying about your role in the deal. If you don't own the property, disclose that. If you don't hold the contract, disclose that you don't have the original contract with the seller. Always ask the wholesaler to show you the original contract. Make sure you see the paper trail. Like I showed in video 2 of this series, you need to know all parties involved and exactly what you're agreeing to. Tip number 5 is to always disclose whatever information you know about the property. Don't just disclose, but over disclose. You do not ever want to be tied to a known issue of a property. I have a deal right now that I'm working on, and in the seller disclosures, I wrote an entire paragraph about how there was a window leaking and exactly what I did to fix it. Now it's up to the buyer to investigate it if he wants, and if he buys the house, he was informed of the issue and everything I did, and he knew about it. If I sell that property to a homeowner and that window leaks again in the future, that buyer can't come back on me. He knew about it and decided to purchase it anyway. Whereas if I knew about the issue and I didn't disclose it, then I basically didn't give the buyer the opportunity to make an informed decision. And then if the window leaks in the future, I would be held liable for knowing and not disclosing. This is Real Estate Integrity 101. Tip number 6 is to own your mistakes. Listen, if you screw up, then man up or woman up. If I made a buyer upset because of a mistake I made, even if contractually I was right, I would cancel the contract and I would give back the earnest money. I gave Randy the fraudster an opportunity to make it right. If you watch video part 3 where I confronted him, I was cool and I was controlled and collected and calm, and I just wanted my earnest money back. When he refused, I decided to call him out publicly and get my earnest money back. Aside from doing the right thing, the wholesaling community is smaller than you think. Don't burn a bridge with another investor, even in a big town like Phoenix. Now, I've had some of the biggest wholesalers in town reach out to me today and tell me they will never do business with him again. He had no idea that he poked a hornet's nest with me, and that's what happened. Now, the community talks and word gets around. You want to be known as the closer, as the guy or girl that says what they'll do and then does what they say. And I've got a bonus tip for you: get your real estate license. Not only are there a ton of benefits to being a licensed wholesaler, such as access to the MLS and public record, you can set up your own showings, you can list your own properties, and you can receive referral fees from other agents, but you also learn your state's real estate laws, which will keep you educated and compliant. Now, I got my license when I first started in real estate 16 years ago in Michigan, and I've kept it active ever since, and it's been a huge benefit throughout my career as a wholesaler and a flipper. Now, I did a video where I break down some of the benefits of getting your license, link in the description. This whole experience with Randy Guzman confirms what I've been talking about for some time, and also the reason why states such as Illinois are cracking down hard on wholesalers. There are too many shady wholesalers that are doing harm to the public. I believe regulation is coming, and it's coming fast. If you'd like me to cover more on this topic in more depth, leave a comment and let me know. Now, I hope you learned something on this video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel with hundreds of videos and new videos released every week. This is the #1 channel on YouTube for all things wholesaling and flipping. And remember, it's not about the money. It's about having the time and freedom to have, be, do, and give everything God has in store for you. And when you do the right thing, He will consecrate your efforts. I believe that, and I hope you do too. And I'll see you on the next video.